welcome to Have a Chat. I'm Audrey Lynch with my beautiful co-stars Judy Loge and Veronique Arsenault. Hello, ladies.
Hi.
We're back together, everybody.
All three of us are here for you today. Great show we've got lined up for our viewers. Yes, it's been a while since the Three Musketeers, or three Sean's Angels have been together.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, so we have lots to celebrate just because of that. You probably are going to have a hard time getting us to shut up for a quick chat because we haven't seen each other in a little bit.
You're right. Schedules. We're trying to jive our schedules.
No,
so
I know,
good to be
exactly. Back. That's just it. So we're going to start off our show like we always do, which is with a positive quote. And we have got Veronique with us.
I know, it's me this time because I've been away for so long. Work commitments kept me busy.
We missed you.
It kept me
busy, yeah. But I have to say it was most interesting all summer, and this is just a side note, but all summer people would say, I watch you guys on Have a Chat all the time. I'm like, really? So I was hearing it everywhere, and we were in St. John actually for some medical appointments, and I even heard it down there.
I have heard it in St. John as well. So thanks to all the viewers for tuning in every Monday.
Us.
I know, it was great. It's great to be back. So my quote today is actually about the new year. For me and in our family, Mom was a teacher my whole life, so New Year always is like September, right? The new school year. So it really got me to thinking about, it's always obviously January is always a new kickoff to the new me, but so is September. So that's where my quote comes from.
Okay.
So there is nothing magical about the flip of the calendar, but it represents a clean break, a new hope, and a blank canvas. So that's by Jason Sorosky. And to me, it was really about, that starting that new school year. It was all about new beginnings again, and I was so excited to go back. I love school. I loved, the social aspect. I will admit I wasn't so much with the academic, but that's okay. I've gotten past it now. But that going back and seeing who your teachers were going to be, and so, who's going to be in your class, and because change for me is always opportunity. So it was an opportunity to change.
Well, that's so true because I have one that went back to school this year, and what I like is maybe last year wasn't that great for them.
Yeah.
And maybe summer was not what they expected it to be, and there was lots of ups and downs. So September was exactly that. The new pencils, the new clean piece of paper that's blank, that you get to start over again and make a new impression, and set your path on a more positive note if that's what you choose to do.
Yeah. Very good.
So I think that's a great quote for us today.
I do too. My mom was a teacher as well. For 35 years she taught. And again, as Veronique said, it's that getting that new book bag and getting out the door, anticipating new teachers. And I anticipate the flip of the calendar, though. I really do. I look forward to the new calendar every month. It's like, yay, starting another one.
Exactly.
Yeah, understandable.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Yeah.
And the weather has changed it and shifted for us as well. We've experienced our first hurricane not too long ago.
Yeah, that wasn't great.
No, not for New Brunswick and the Maritime provinces for sure. But we want to swing our conversation over to something that's happening right here, right now that's so exciting, which is the craft hockey.
Big.
Oh, my land. Do you have your tickets? It was a raffled off kind of deal. You had to get your name in the hat if you wanted to be chosen.
Yeah.
So what just happened? They had their alumni game, correct?
Well, so they had the kickoff parade, which was fantastic to see all the, participants and the floats and all that. And so they had the kickoff parade. And then yesterday they had the alumni game. And that looked fantastic. That was at the Civic Center here in Miramichi, and I think they had a great turnout.
Beautiful weather.
Yes, and there was pictures with the alumni from the Montreal Canadiens, and it was so exciting.
We want to remind our viewers this stemmed from a win.
Yes.
Contest.
Yes.
That the Tom Donovan Arena in Renouse won this contest for the Craft Hockeyville. In case there's any viewers out there who haven't heard of it and don't know what it is. So an NHL game is coming to us here in the Maritime provinces. And it's going to be in Bathurst.
So it's going to be in Bathurst at the Casey Irving Center on Wednesday, on the 18th. So there was an opportunity, and there was a little bit of chaos on Facebook, of course, around the game tickets, and I think that the committee handled it so well. And I think we forget, and we've always talked about this, but I think people forget that these events are run by volunteers.
Oh,
Yes.
You know, and that they're doing the best they can with what they've been given. And so, and they got all of their direction from Craft Hockeyville, like from the NHL and from Craft, right?
Amazing.
Like, it wasn't just, they didn't make this up, right? No. So the committee has been working diligently night and day, really, since they put it together and then started the voting and then won, and then, you know, ever since.
Incredible committee.
So there was a lot of controversy on the Facebook page about, you know, wanting to buy tickets, and I voted for a whole 24 hours. Yeah, everybody voted.
Right.
You know, and so, but the way that it was done, as you said, Audrey, was you had to go and register in person, and it went by postal code. So Renew's got the bulk of the tickets, as they should.
Yes.
And then it went by postal code in surrounding areas. And so then your name went into a certain draw, whether for whatever that postal code. For whatever
area. Yeah, and they drew so many tickets, correct?
And then there was tickets for the practice game, which is in the afternoon, and then tickets for the actual game, for the practice, So anyway, and then all the kids that participated in the Renews minor hockey got tickets automatically.
They automatically got tickets.
I think they should.
I think that's fantastic.
Well, exactly. You know, and it was really done for that. You know, for Thomas Dunn, who, you know, he said make them remember your name. Well, they're remembering his name now for sure.
For sure.
So they anyway. So they, I mean, listen, and they're a hot commodity on Facebook. Everybody's looking for a ticket, or on social media, I should say, because they're all over the place. But you know, it's really, and as exciting as it would be, I would love to go to a game. But you know what? It's not about, you know, me or, you know, the other hundreds of people who voted. And if you were lucky enough to get a ticket, great. If not, then just be happy.
Be happy that it's
you know,
come
be
here
happy
and that
for
we have
those
so
who
many
are
fans.
getting the opportunity to go and experience and take part in something that is absolutely something that we will never forget. It's historic for us, for our area.
Yep, exactly.
You know what I mean? So as a whole, we all win.
Yeah,
we all win, for sure.
It's a big event.
Definitely.
Thanks for sharing all that information.
Well, and it's you know, it's a ton of information, but I really want to congratulate the organizing committee. You know, we had Nancy Hallahan and Zachary Hallahan on the show to talk. Nancy Hallahan, surgeon, sorry, and Zachary Hallahan on the show when they, one, were encouraging us to vote, and then two, to tell us that they won.
They're dynamic.
Yeah. So you know, they and their whole committee have done just an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, they did. They did fantastic.
So
Great job.
Keep on going.
Great job. I can't wait. And if you are looking for tickets, stay on Facebook.
Yes.
There are people
That's the way to
who
go.
are looking to either donate them, give them away, whatever it may be. So you just might get that chance. So don't give up if you truly want to be there. I'm pretty sure the opportunity will arise for them to do exactly that, for sure. So what else is coming up? Now there's something going on at the Vogue I want you to bring up.
Speaking of cleaning my slate and putting aside things I should be doing this evening, I would love to go to this event that's being held tonight at the Vogue Theatre.
Okay, so what's happening?
Well,
who's going to be there?
Paul Coleman. He's a British Australian pop rock artist, vocalist, guitarist, composer, and he is an Emmy or Grammy, I should say, nominated artist.
Oh, wow.
So if he gets that Grammy, he's going to make waves, but he's already making waves. If you tune in or Google Paul Coleman's name, you're going to come up with some beautiful music that he provides.
So what kind of music is it?
Holding On to You would be equivalent to a Bryan Adams, something, a ballad, and he's just got this incredibly clear and unusual voice, but someone you would love.
It's a distinct voice, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's free admission at the Vogue.
Wow.
And the Vogue
So that's
Theater,
tonight?
Yes, tonight from 7 to 9.
Okay.
At 50 Kennard Street in Miramichi, so we all know where the Vogue Theater is for those of us who live here. But if not, come to see Paul Coleman.
Worth the trip, eh?
He is supposed to be.
I just might be able to do that. I just might be able to swing that, depending on when I have to pick up what kid when.
Well, if he's good enough to win a Grammy or be nominated, then you know it's high caliber performance.
Exactly. Because I can remember we had another artist come through here, and because I'm a big country fan, and they had stopped in at the Riverside Entertainment Center, and you can't get anywhere near that boy now, Brett Kissel.
Oh, I love his
and
music.
He came down and was off the stage and was standing with us and stood on a chair and played his guitar, and I told everybody in the room, I went, you will never be this close to that man again.
He is big.
And he just soared right
I
after that.
I love his
for
music,
sure.
but I'm not even a country fan.
I can say that I was there and that I was that close. For sure,
lucky
definitely.
One, the lucky one.
We have a lot of great things happening here in Miramichi. A lot of great names.
Yeah, it never
things
stops.
like that.
No,
That's just
it never stops.
I want to bring up a little thought-provoking question, something that I've been experiencing lately that I wanted to share with the ladies, just to see what their thought on it was.
I know.
I'm going to throw. They haven't got a clue what I'm going to say.
Okay.
But as you all know, my journey, my fitness journey, and health, and all of that for the past year, and in 6 weeks, I will be competing in my 4th competition in 12 months.
Amazing.
So I've jumped on board. I have my trainer again, and I'm working towards that, right? Taking my health and my fitness to that level, which is, if anybody knows it at all, and you guys would know because I've let you know along the way, that being stage ready is not something that you would do every day, nor is it healthy or sustainable on any level kind of thing. It's a challenge that I choose to put my body through in order to reach a certain level, to say I've done it.
Right.
So my question to my girlfriends is that out there in the public, people who bump into me in this past year or so, what I find astonishing and a little, it sets me back a little bit, is why is it that people feel it's okay to insult somebody, like compliment and insult them in the same sentence, someone who is trying to physically better themselves or challenge themselves?
One word, jealousy. Sorry. It has to be.
I just don't understand why it changes that if they seen somebody that they felt was, required a little more intervention health-wise, wouldn't say boo, but someone who is physically fit or noticeably trying to challenge themselves or do something,
and succeeding,
they'll tell you right to your face that and this has happened to me, and my coach did warn me that you would sort of get that, and just where they're like, oh my goodness, I admire your admiration and your determination and your work ethic, and you're able to do all of that, but honey, would you please eat something?
Oh, no. See,
and I'm just like,
Audrey,
I'm like, I outweigh you by 20 pounds. Like, I'm solid muscle. I feel like I'm healthier than I ever have been, or whatever. I mean, this last few weeks going into, yes, you get very drawn and you get very depleted and dehydrated in order to be able to step on stage like that. But it's something I'm choosing to do, and I'm enjoying the process, and I don't believe I'm sacrificing my health in order to do it.
So
it just sort of sets me back, and I don't like being caught off guard like that, and I don't know how to respond.
Okay, now that you're prepared, now that it's
so
happening.
I'm just like, what do you say thank you? Because there was an insult that went with that. So
no, you just say nothing, basically. You know what you want, and you know what you're after, and you know that you're determined, and it's Audrey that is you're what matters, not what other people think of you.
True.
So you have to maintain your self-esteem, knowing that you are improving, you've reached an incredible level. Like, we look at pictures from you 5 years ago, and you were always beautiful, but the increments that you've made along the way,
I don't feel like
astonishing. And I don't mean to be rude by saying people are jealous, but if people can't say something nice, and they should say nothing, and we've all been taught that. So leave it at the complimentary stage, and then if they insult you, just say, I'm fine with myself. Don't worry about me.
No, exactly. That's just it. I guess
I think,
because I feel like I'm encouraging my kids, and I do encourage other people, like, because they've messaged me and said, oh, we can't wait to follow your journey, but yet I'm just like,
no, you're letting them get to you, and don't. Just
but also, and I will say this, having spent the last nearly 14 years here, and we've all been very active in the community.
Yes.
We've and now 5 years on our show. I think sometimes too a piece of that becomes when you're a little more public, people feel like they own a piece of you and can and have the right to say whatever they want to say. Because they feel
like they know you at that level.
And because I will tell you this, I've had it happen a lot over the years, especially since we started the show. But oh, your hair's too dark. You look older. You look younger. You're too fat.
Don't sit sideways. Don't wear this color. Make sure your sleeves.
It's really it's because you become almost public property.
A target.
Public property, right?
Yeah.
And people mean well in their own way. I do believe that. I don't know. They think that. No, I do. I think that they think that they're helping.
Do you?
I do, in a lot of cases. Yeah, I think that they think that they're helping. I do think
it's constructive criticism.
Yeah, I do think that. I think that some people are just not nice. You know, I had another word in my head, but I almost forgot I was on lychee.
No.
But I think that they think that, you know, they're not nice in general as people. But I do think that that they think that they're expressing their concern for you.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
I get that every
that
day.
They have that right to, because they feel like
Because
they know us
you.
a little bit. They know us.
Yeah.
They feel like they know us.
Though, do you eat? No. No, I don't ever eat. Like, what would I eat?
No.
So it's just
it. So that was my thought-provoking question. So
Just,
I just wanted to let people know out there, their fitness journey, you do what you do you.
And let Audrey be Audrey.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Perfect.
We have some election stuff coming up.
Yes, we do. That we sort of had to bring that up before we start with our show.
Just a quick nod to that. So the election is October 21st, the federal election.
Okay.
So you know, our
big
country.
deal.
Yeah. So you know, you can vote anytime between now and October 15th at any of the returning offices. So that's really important because you know, a lot of people aren't available on the day of the election.
No, that's just it. It's a busy, crazy day in town too.
Yeah, but
usually.
you can really vote any day between now and October 15th on at the returning office. You can also vote by mail, I believe. So you know, really, it doesn't matter what party you support. Just get out and support one.
And go for that person, that person that you think will make the difference in whatever party that they're entering into. I go for the person that's got the really good ideas.
That's what I'm afraid of this election specifically, or whatever. Not to get too controversial or anything else like that. I worry that people are not going to take the time to actually listen to the platforms and who it is that you're voting for. They're more concerned with who they want to get out, as opposed to who they want in. Yeah. And you really have to take a look at that.
And that is really the way politics has worked for so long now.
I know.
Like, we're really mad at this group and at this person,
so
we're
we just
want
to, no matter what.
Get them all out.
Yeah, exactly. No, and that's not the way you should be looking at things. You really should be listening, because then you'll turn around and do exactly that. And then when that other party gets in, you're like, wait a minute, I didn't know or don't like the way that they, and then we're like, well, that was what their platform was.
Yeah. But it's true. Like you need to find someone that you can support, no matter what party or independent, doesn't matter.
No,
but find someone that you can support.
If you like their plan, help them stick to it.
Get out and vote.
And
yes,
definitely.
And listen, as Audrey said, listen and take the time to see what they are pledging to do.
No,
and I think people don't realize too is that you know, everybody says, oh, my vote doesn't matter. My vote's only one vote. But you know what? So many votes, so many elections now have been like within 10 votes, within 100 votes.
So close.
It matters. Every vote matters.
So
it does. Yes. Yeah. And I just want to give a shout out to everyone who is participating in the election, who is out canvassing and doing all of that. Kudos to you.
Yes.
You know, keep up the good work. It's hard, definitely. We have a great show lined up for you. Please don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. Welcome back to Have a Chat. Joining us is our first guest, Father Innocent, who is from the ministry from Rogersville, the monastery, pardon me. Hello, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Very special guest having you.
Thank you.
I've been to the monastery in Rogersville, and I visited with my catechism class years ago. I took my confirmation group, and it was a beautiful experience.
Thank you.
I've never been. I drive by it all the time.
I do too.
You're welcome anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I look up the road to see if I can see anybody, but I've never driven up to,
we should go together
stop
someday.
by.
Have a ride. Come around.
Yes, exactly.
You're most welcome anytime.
You lead an interesting life, Father.
So tell us first a little bit about who you are for our viewers who might not know, a little bit about yourself.
Father Innocent Ugi. I was born in Africa, in Nigeria. That's where I started my religious journey also.
Oh, okay.
32 years ago.
Oh.
When I entered the monastery.
32 years ago?
Yes, I entered the monastery.
Oh, you had one.
I have a question about that in a minute. Okay.
I've been there since, I've been in the monastery since the Trappist Monastery.
Yes.
Really?
Oh, and how old? At what age?
I entered?
Yes.
I was 20, going 21.
21
wow.
is a very
21.
young age.
Yeah.
It is.
To choose that calling, which is a very, very special calling. Your childhood growing up, were you drawn towards religion like before you actually entered?
I think I was, thanks to my mom.
Your
Yes,
mother
yeah.
influenced you.
Yeah.
Yes, thanks to her, because we grew up little children, took me to the church almost every day. I went to primary school, was a church school.
Oh, okay.
She went to her store in the market, in the business district. So she would take me to the school. We'll walk to the school, take me to my class. She would head off.
Oh, okay.
Then after school, I would walk home with the other children around us. We'll walk home. So that's how every day we did that, except for the weekends. But so my journey started there actually. Then I went to secondary school. I was in a boarding house, and there was always church. I was church going on, the Catholic Church, of course.
Yes.
and,
It was part of your daily
it
routine.
became part
It
of
was
my
automatic.
life as
Yeah.
growing up, and even in at the secondary school, we had lots of church activities. I was
Okay.
very much involved.
Social activities within the church? Like
Church
set group
activities.
sessions and activities?
No, like choir and
Oh,
having the
okay.
Eucharist and
Nice.
singing and attending lectures.
Yes.
We know. And yeah, so I went through that. But then before I finished high school, that was when this whole vocation thing really struck me.
Were you just sitting there one day, Father, like something has to be that defining moment when you say, I want to go down that path and I want to follow that journey, and there must be that special time you're thinking, I'm going to do this.
When I reflect, really, I normally say it came very gradually.
Gradual.
The real moment was when I decided I want to enter a monastery, and a Trappist monastery. That I would say that was very defining, because after high school, I spent a year or two just to help my dad in his business.
Yeah.
But every day I would go back to the library, the public library, and they had this big encyclopedia, and this whole religious history was there,
Okay.
of religions. So I read about the Trappists,
Yes.
So how did you?
and that's talk.
So how
I
did you
said,
make
this
that
is
decision?
what I want.
But how did you make that decision from going into to living in a monastery versus being a parish priest,
Right.
or like that? That's a much different path, is it not?
It's different. In fact, when I decided to go to the monastery, my parish priest said, "Oh, but we have a beautiful seminary here. We need people. Why do you want to go to the monastery?" I said, "Well, I've never been to a seminary, but I've read about the monastic life, the Trappist life, from the encyclopedia, and I've read about the life of the saints, and that fits in perfectly well with what I think I
What
should
you were
do."
thinking and
Yeah,
feeling
yeah.
at that
It
time, you
deep
were
within me
drawn
what
to
I
that.
think God wanted me to do. So I said, for me, I think that is the point. So I had gone to get a recommendation letter from him. So
Right.
he told me, "Why do you want to go?" So that day he did not give me the letter.
Okay.
I
Okay.
said, "Well,
He thought maybe you might
yeah,
change your
maybe
mind.
I needed more time." I said, "Well,
Right.
I will come back, Father. I will come back to see you again." He said, "Okay, come back."
So we're watching a little bit of video now. Is this the monastery
It
in
is a monastery.
Rogersville?
That aspect is called the Scriptorium,
Okay.
where we could sit down quietly and read
Beautiful.
and pray and do
So
our
that's all
Lectio Divina.
scripture? All the books and literature there is all scripture?
No,
No?
but mostly holy books, let me call it that way.
Yes.
Spirituality, Catholic history, scriptures, commentaries, etc.
That man looks familiar.
How many live there?
Today we are 9,
Oh.
8 present.
And different ages, I can see. There are different varying in age groups.
Varying age, not too much.
No? No, you're one of the younger ones, the
I
fathers.
think so.
Yes.
Well, I hate to see myself as a younger one. Younger, yes, but not a young
Yes.
one.
How long has the monastery been in Rogersville?
Since 1902.
Wow.
1902.
Yeah, before
Wow.
Canada, before Canada, before New Brunswick became.
Yes,
you
Formed.
see,
Yep.
you see,
exactly.
it was in
Interesting.
60s.
What does your week look like, Father, from Sunday morning until the end of the week? What is your routine?
Our routine, the day starts with a buzzer
Buzzer.
at 3:20 a.m. every day.
3:20 a.m.?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
okay. Oh, wow.
We can't do it.
Yeah.
So
No.
what time do you go
Not
to
saying that
bed?
I'm not up. I might be up. Haven't fallen back to sleep yet. but-
3:20 a.m.
Yeah, every day.
every day. So what
If
time
you
do
have
you go?
lived there 32 years, you've been doing that for 32 years.
And so what
May
time do
I
you
ask
go to
why?
bed?
You ask me why?
Why?
It's God, all about God.
Well,
Jesus.
yes, I get that part.
Okay.
Yes,
But-
Jesus.
but
It's a
the-
calling, special.
Okay.
It's not given to everyone.
No.
But
No,
you see, you are
true.
called to it. You're called to it. You feel it. It won't be so much of
A bird, like a shock
a
to the
difficult-
When the buzzer goes off, you don't go, "Ugh."
No.
You get up.
Yeah, when the buzzer goes off, you jump from your bed. You clean your face. You wash your face. Brush your mouth. Dress up for the first prayer of the day.
Okay.
And what time's the first prayer of the day?
3:40.
Oh, so
Three.
you don't have long. Okay.
No, 3:40.
And then what
20.
happens after that prayer time?
It goes on until about 4:20 thereabouts. It's a combination of psalms and scripture readings and patristic reading literature.
Okay.
So is there specific scriptures and readings for every single day?
Every single day.
Okay. There's certain ones that must be read on that day
Yeah,
at that hour.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then from there you have at 4:00, 4:20 thereabouts. Then we start. It's all finished. The first vigils is finished, and then we followed with the meditation.
Okay.
It's a prayer, contemplative prayer, meditation, or prayer of the heart, whichever word you want to use.
Right.
It's just quiet, sit quiet in the dark,
Peaceful time, thought time
you
with
spend
God,
the
yeah.
time with the Lord,
Yeah.
and you pray, and then it takes about 20, 30 minutes, and then it's over. You go that's when we go for our breakfast.
I would think that would be a lovely thing.
I'm running the time through my head. So 5 a.m.
Breakfast.
5 a.m. you're having breakfast.
Yes, about that,
Yeah?
that's correct, you're
Alright.
correct.
Yeah.
Have breakfast, then you go back to read, do what we call Lectio Divina, it's a spiritual reading. You read that until 6:15. We're back in the church for the morning prayer. The morning prayer takes about 30 minutes, thereabouts. The same psalms, scriptures. And the beautiful thing about the Psalms, I think, is that these are inspired texts. You're not just creating words, huh? They're inspired by the Holy Spirit, the scriptures. So it's like you are singing what the Holy Spirit has inspired and it's been written down. So you're actually singing it. So we really feel it, that you are really singing and praying using God's words.
Just
pray.
talking to you, you have that inner joy that comes from
I've
within.
been in it. I'm not forced to do it.
it's
I entered it willingly, and I'm not. If I am not happy with it, why am I there?
I just find
You
it,
see.
to be honest, I mean, personally, I
Oh,
find
well.
it intimidating to be in your
No,
presence
no,
because
no,
you
no.
have like that reverence about you that is almost, you know, we try to be proper and we're all human beings, but when you see somebody live that life of devotion, we kind of pale in comparison, even though we have our own spiritual beliefs and faith and goodness.
Correct.
You have a level way up there and beyond.
Yeah, but it's not all about me. We have a brother there, for instance, who has been there for like 65 years.
So how many?
65
years. He's 92.
He gets up at 3:20 a.m. as well.
He still does.
He's a saint.
Correct. You're right. You're right.
I find it fascinating.
So you see, we have examples. I have
Yeah.
examples, people
Right.
to
To
inspire
follow,
me. So I'm
that
not
inspire
just,
you
I'm
to-
not just brother Leo. Everybody knows him.
Oh, it's beautiful.
But I find it I'm sitting here quite fascinated because,
Yes.
and I mean, I am dedicated to my church. We are active in our parish and things like that. But
Yeah.
I think to myself as I listen to you, I think, How is that possible? And then I think, well, what did I think was happening in the monastery?
Right.
Like what,
No,
you know,
exactly.
because
No.
I'm thinking, oh my goodness, that's a lot of prayer. But then I think, well, what if I gave it some thought? What did I really think was actually happening in a monastery?
Oh,
But
yeah.
you do
I
other
think that's
lovely
just
things.
it.
You do
Yeah,
gardening.
apart from so after the morning prayer, we call Lord's. After Lord's, then we have some days we have a little talk, chapter talk. The superior gives some days, not every day.
What is this, Father?
But
By the
yeah,
way,
there-
sorry to
that's a
interrupt
big
you.
greenhouse.
That's a greenhouse.
Yes.
That's a
Okay.
greenhouse. I
Very
work there
large.
every day.
Oh, that's nice.
And that's a barn. It used to be our cow barn where we milk our cows.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
self-sustaining?
And this is our poultry. That's a poultry. Yes, we are.
Okay.
So poultry and you do you have
And
a
that,
green
and that,
thumb?
those are the apples. We have
Oh, very
an
nice.
apple orchard. We have an apple orchard.
It's also peaceful, right? It's also
Very, very
serene,
peaceful,
your
quiet,
surroundings.
Very peaceful,
Do
quiet.
you do all your meal cooking yourself, like the gentlemen that are there?
Yeah,
or
we'll
they're-
cook, we'll cook. Some of us cook. We have one cook employed.
Okay.
They come. Yeah, but otherwise we do it ourselves. But they
Mm-hmm.
come. They come too.
Beautiful apples, especially
Yeah.
this time of year.
Yeah, yeah,
Ripe for the picking.
yeah.
So what time do you retire for the evening? If you get up at
No,
3:20
we get up
a.m.
at 3:20. So me and after, so we had the mass
Yes,
and the other prayer we call test.
every day.
Yeah, that's at 8 o'clock. We have mass at 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, we have work. Anybody who work that needs to be done,
Right.
go to the garden, or
Yeah.
some brothers who are in charge of different other departments of the monastery, they go to deal with those aspects of it. Otherwise, some will go up, mow the lawn,
Yes. Do the routine
do
chores
routine
around.
chores around, do
monastery.
laundry,
This-
stuff like that.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Isn't that
And then
beautiful?
yeah, until 11 o'clock, we close work. You come, you wash up, you get ready. 11:40, we have midday prayer. After midday prayer, we have dinner. We normally have dinner at midday.
Right.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Do you kneel throughout the whole prayer session?
No,
always?
you are standing. Mostly, you are standing. You are
Okay.
sitting. You are
Okay.
standing. You are sitting. You are
Oh.
bowing
Yes.
before God in the chapel. We like both sides. Of the choir, some on the other side, some on this way. They sing. We sing. We alternate the singing. So it's very beautiful, peaceful.
You've been-
Come on, experience it a little
We
bit.
shall. You've been
should do that.
appointed head of the monastery recently?
Last year,
Last
April.
year.
April, I was
Okay.
appointed head of the monastery because
Beautiful.
the former abbot just retired.
Oh yes.
For us too, when the abbots are 75 years, they need to retire.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
They're like
Yes.
senators, like
Yes.
senators.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have to
Time's up.
retire.
Like
time's
the
up.
bishop
or,
as
or
well,
bishops,
eh?
or
Yeah,
bishops,
bishop.
yeah.
Yeah,
So they have to
exactly.
retire. So he had to retire. We loved him very much, but
It's come to
it's law. They had to retire. So I was appointed last year. So since then, I've been there.
So, Father, Veronique or Audrey or I had special intentions for loved ones that were going through a rough time in their life. Do you take appointments for people that are in need of counseling as such, or time with you for special intentions to be talked about?
Sure, we do. Yeah, we
Like
do.
blessings?
Exactly. And sometimes people write.
Yes.
Sometimes they call in. Sometimes they come to talk and for us to pray.
By appointment, though. You couldn't
Yeah,
just interrupt
yeah.
your prayer
Yeah,
time. We
well,
have to know.
because I may not, well, the person may not be there. So
Exactly.
you have to make appointment. It's better, so you know the right time to come.
Now, you mentioned that you started your journey on this very, very young at 21.
Yeah.
Now, for anyone out there who might be considering this and reading about it and thinking that this might be something that they want to do, is age a limit? Like, or can, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Can
what
they
do you-
have life experiences and still turn around and decide that this is the life they want to lead?
Thinking
They
of Reese?
They can have life
They can.
experience and turn around and come. We have the age limit according to law. We don't want people minors. We don't want minors
Yes, of
coming.
course.
You know,
Yeah.
basically.
Mature men.
Yeah, you have
Right.
to make it age of majority. You have to be. So they can come. They can apply. They can come and spend time if they want first, and then see whether this is what
And
they
see
want.
what if that was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can join us. We don't want people. Age is not so much the limit, but you know, as you grow older, you have more challenges.
Yes.
You may not be
Exactly.
able to follow that kind of life if you grow, if it's too old, sickly.
Physically
Oh yeah,
hard.
physically, because you have to work out every day. You see, and we finish our 8 p.m.
Okay.
when our day actually finishes.
That's a long
We
day,
have
but a
to
very
pray 7
fulfilling.
times a day together.
Yeah.
We come together 7 times a day to
Oh,
pray.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Plus the mass.
Right.
So almost
No.
like 8 times.
Wow.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us today and
Thank
filling us all in on the monastery in Rogersville. It looks absolutely beautiful. I think we should definitely
I want
take
to go.
a
Come
visit.
over.
Field trip?
Come
And-
over. You're
yeah,
welcome. You're welcome.
exactly.
I'd like to go and talk to you about some things
Yeah.
that friends are
Yeah.
going through and maybe get your blessing for them.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank you,
That's just
Father.
it. Thank you
Sure.
so much for joining us,
Yeah.
and we'll just have you wait right there, and we will tell our viewers to don't go away. We'll be back with more Have a Chat after the break. And we're back with more Have a Chat. We were just chatting with Father Innocent, who is a Christian monk at the monastery in Rogersville. We had a great conversation with him, and we didn't get a chance to, but we want to mention that he does have a couple of books, The Christian Monks in Rogersville, New Brunswick. This is one of his books here, and also
French
Judy.
version.
There's a French version.
The author is Robert Pichette. He's an elderly gentleman and a former politician. Il est heureux que nous soyons ici, les Cisterciens en Acadie, and it was built, the monastery, in 1902, and it's done 2002.
Yes, exactly. So we wanted to mention that these books are available at the monastery if you have any interest whatsoever in finding any more about that, for sure. So we just might have to take a little tour ourselves
Yes.
and
I'm
venture out.
game to go.
We'll do
Yeah.
a road trip.
Joining us now, we have our next guests, Dianne Barry and Laurette Beauvert. Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi. Good. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you ladies are joining us here from the Miramichi Grief Support Group at the hospital here in Miramichi. We want to thank you for coming today. First, we're going to get you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So, Dianne.
Hi, I'm Dianne Barry, and I'm from Douglasfield.
Okay.
And I took this grieving course 10 years ago after losing my husband.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I got so much out of it that I thought if I could help one more person,
Then
Go through
that's
that
what you
journey,
wanted
that-
to do.
did you? That
Exactly.
was my.
And Laurette, honey?
I'm from Chatham Head,
Mm-hmm.
and I too was interested in the grief support group whenever my husband passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then again, because of helping me so much, I wanted to try to help other people.
It's such a consolation to know that this grief support group is in place, because if we ever do lose a loved one, which is bound to happen, somebody very close to us, we're grasping and we're needing help to get through this.
And there's an actual course that,
it's
that these
wonderful.
ladies took that can help not only yourselves, but you want to take it to another level and help others.
Yeah.
And at the same time, as we do the course, I find it helps me now, even after 10 years.
Yes.
Yes,
Coping better and
exactly.
better every day.
Because
Yes,
there's
because grieving
always-
never truly goes
No, it
away,
It
right?
doesn't. No,
It just
Have to
changes,
cope
I
with
think,
it.
in
Yes,
different
that's
levels.
right. That's right.
My
For
mother
sure.
has been the chaplain at the hospital for the last 10 years, and she speaks so highly of the course and everything that it's been able to do, because of course she sees, you know, her patients and everything in and amongst the worst times of their life at times. And she said that she's often heard back from people how much the course has helped them and cope with their loss and what's going on in their lives.
Well, actually, there's quite a few people that loved it so much that they came back the second time to take it.
So
Yeah.
comforting to know that you're all going
Yes.
through the same thing.
That's
Everybody's
right.
there for the one reason to
Yeah.
try to get
Yeah.
guidance as to how to cope. And so tell us about your program, where it's offered, and what you actually do when people sign up to go there.
Well, first of all, we get calls from them and we kind of tell them when the course is going to start. And then it's for 10 weeks. And it's at the chapel at the hospital.
Region
And
7 Hospital in Miramichi.
Yes, and then it's on Tuesday night from 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's open to anybody.
Okay.
Yeah, we had men, women from surrounding areas like from Niguac, Bishboktu, St. Louis, Rogersville. Yeah, we had, yeah.
So you
yeah.
offer it, in French and English then, is
Both,
it?
yes,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Yeah, we offer it in both. Yeah.
And do you see people in varying stages of grief? Like some may have recently lost, but then there are other people who have.
yeah.
Oh.
It's been
Yeah.
some time since they've lost a
Sometimes
loved one.
yeah.
Eh?
We had one not that long ago. It was 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and she came to the course and she tremendously loved it.
Was trying to find a way to
That's
cope
right.
with.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, and also I can like after losing my husband, 5 years after I lost a son.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on his last day of retirement in Calgary, anxious to come home, and he fell down the stairs.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Never
I
woke
recall that tragedy
my
now.
goodness.
That is a tragedy. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yes, yes. So whoever comes, we try to
Ease their pain.
yes.
How
yeah.
big are your groups? How many people can you take in your group?
It varies. This group we just started last week, we have 8.
Okay.
And it's all ladies, we have no men this time.
Okay.
But it's really, when you have men present, like, it's amazing. They grieve different
They
than
do.
ladies.
I observe that too.
And I've learned different ways from them too. It's very,
I'm going to just
rewarding.
say it as I think it. I find when men lose their wives, they are maybe perhaps a little bit quicker to move on, to find a partner, not because they don't love their wife, that they will never replace their wife, but they need that present female in their life to help them, I think, in many ways.
The companionship.
Yeah, companionship and the woman's touch in the house and the woman's comforting words. And I see that they can move along a little bit better than women do. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, we find that too.
oh
Yeah.
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 So this course, I'm sorry, I'm a tiny bit confused. So this course is not to teach you to be grief counselors, but to handle grief itself.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct?
That's right.
But in
Uh-huh.
turn, you have offered the course.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what it is? Your
Yeah,
organization?
If I'm grieving
Okay.
and I have a hard time with it,
Mm-hmm.
the course teaches you how to get out of
How
it,
to
how to
handle.
move on.
And to
Okay.
find those
To-
ways
yes,
to handle it.
uh-huh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
10 weeks is a pretty intense,
Yeah,
that's
and
a long
yes,
time.
yeah.
We deal with
So-
one topic every week.
Oh, okay. One
Like,
Do you want me to
specific.
hold that for you?
I'm very
Yep.
interested in this because we all know that somebody in our life's going to be gone and that we will
That's
need
right.
you.
That's
Or
right.
So
they-
this is the book that you follow
That's the
for
book
the
that we
course.
follow.
Okay, so Finding My Way, Coping with Grief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's each week is a lesson
Yes.
per se.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the first lesson is grieving together.
Mm-hmm.
That's our first session.
Yes.
The second one, sharing the loss.
Okay.
The third one is how to keep going. Is to do things with others and talk about like how to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's very, very hard to
Move on.
move on.
Okay.
It's the new you. You'll never be the same again.
Never.
You'll never be
No.
the same again. And then the fourth one is sorrow and loneliness. The fifth one, anger.
Mm.
Sixth one is guilt.
Because you survived.
Yeah. Seventh one is fear. The eighth one is creativity and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
And 9 and 10, is there any hope? We combine the 9 and 10 together.
Okay.
Okay. It's interesting because, over the years, people that I know have lost loved ones and things like that, or, spouses or children, and I've heard the same thing often, is that and I know people tend not to want to bring up the loved one that's passed because they don't want to make that person cry or be sad.
Yes.
But I've heard often that more people wished that they would bring them up because then it means that they're not forgotten.
Keep them alive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
In
helps
spirit.
them remember and
Yes.
talking about events and
Yeah.
experiences with that loved
Yeah.
one. No.
Yeah, because I've heard that often actually, that that's not the hardest part, but one of the harder parts, because then you're left with feeling it all on your own, basically, because you're the one remembering all the time. So you must. Have you found that it has helped you to lead others in dealing with your own grief? Has it made it more difficult at times for you, like to bring back those wounds?
Yeah.
It does at the time, but as we discuss it,
It's therapeutic.
very, very therapeutic. Very, yeah.
I'm just curious. I have lost friends and I've lost relatives, but is there, for myself that's not experiencing any terrible loss at this moment, am I allowed to go to a course to have prevention coping methods? Like, could I go to this 10-week course so that come the time that I should lose somebody I love dearly, that I'd be prepared?
Yep.
You can go without grieving
Yeah.
at the moment, you can prevent?
That's right. You can come as an observer.
Okay.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, someday you might meet someone that you'll know how to
help them.
say,
Right.
you know how to help them.
But
Yeah,
that was my
of course.
question. If I'm not one of these people that is a widow or has lost a child,
Yeah.
may I still go and learn
Yes.
for the future
Yes.
what to do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I would
be
think.
one of us someday.
Pardon me?
You may want to be one of us someday.
Well, not necessarily, but I think it's really important
No.
that you have this support group.
Well, I think there's a lot of people who struggle with how do they handle someone, a friend, a close family member that has such a tragic
Yeah.
loss somewhere along their life, then they don't know what to say and don't know what to. So this would just be something that you would have in your repertoire to help, you know,
Others.
if you ever do come across a situation like that.
Yeah, I had my own daughter, which she lives in Nova Scotia,
Mm-hmm.
and after the loss of my son,
Mm-hmm.
which she was
Would
very
be her
close to her brother,
Yeah.
just was finding it so hard, so hard, so hard. So
Yeah.
anyway, I did the course over the phone with her every Thursday night. I would call and then did the course. And then after the 6th or the 7th week, she said, "Oh, Mom," she said, "you don't know how much this has helped
Wow.
Benefited
Oh,
dearly.
wow.
me."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
No.
right.
Well, and you know, death is it's a tough topic for us to talk about anyway.
Yes.
Because I know we've had Connie on with Hospice Miramichi, and it's such a difficult topic to bring up. You know,
But it's
even
inevitable.
to plan for or whatever. And so, you know, it's very amazing that you've used what you've experienced in your lives and the loss of your husbands to be able to help others come to
And-
grips with it.
And whenever it happened to my son, we were in the middle of the course.
Oh wow.
So Dianne called them and told them what had happened.
Mm.
But not more than 2 weeks after, I called Dianne and I said, "I need the course."
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You had
So
that
she
to
called
follow.
them back. There was a
Yeah.
pause. She said, "Are you sure?" And I said,
Yeah.
"Yes,
You
I'm sure.
needed
I
that.
need that."
Like a
Yeah.
lifeline.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
I sort of have a little question, not that it's totally off topic, but is the grieving process course strictly for a death? Or can
No,
it be the
we
loss of a loved one through other means?
Separation.
Right,
Okay.
marriages,
Good.
or, I mean, because
Yeah.
I have, like,
Yeah.
my mother does, or my sister and my mom, they haven't talked in years, like, there's that
Yeah,
separation there, there's
relationship
that.
problems.
Yeah, exactly, and that's still quite, to me, that can be quite a loss.
It is a grief. It
Yeah,
is.
And
exactly.
a few times we had family
Mm-hmm.
that come in, the
We had a
father
whole
and the
family.
mother, and then 2 teenagers.
Oh,
wow.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So this
Yeah.
benefits all kinds of situations then. Oh, that's really good to know.
Are there? I just need to know, like, when I do, you know, my friends have lost children, for example. 2 or 3 of my closest friends have lost their teenagers. What do you do and not do? Like, are there certain things that you teach us to? Do we just be silent and say we're here for you, or are there things that we can do to help them through it? Do you offer that suggestion in the course as to how to help those that we don't know how to?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It wasn't really like the way you put it.
there isn't something specific that you don't say to someone who has just lost
Yes.
a child per
Yeah.
se.
Right, you don't know
Right?
maybe you're saying the
No.
wrong thing or you're.
Yeah, that would be my biggest fear
Yes.
too. When someone tells you of a loss, I freeze.
Don't know what to
because I'm like,
say.
oh, do I
Well, there
say?
are no words
There's a
really.
few people that have mentioned about other people that are rude, saying, well, get over it.
Move on.
Oh,
Move
yeah,
on.
It's time you move
It
on.
happened now.
You're not
it's-
ready.
yeah,
It's not the right things to say.
Yeah.
definitely
No,
not.
No.
No, and you're right. Everybody grieves differently, and everybody grieves everything differently. So
Yes.
a separation, you may go through a separation and grieve it one way, and then grieve a death another way.
right.
And I think you're right. I think we can't impose our judgment on other people and say it's time you moved on. Like you should have been done now. I think sometimes we offer that up because we're trying to help and say,
know.
you really need to let this go because it's doing you harm. But I think also we don't understand.
No, they're
Yeah,
what
because
they're
they think it's unhealthy. That's why they're telling them to move on. But
Yeah.
in the same turn, you had mentioned about men getting over it quickly, and people are quick to say, well, that was fast. He got over that pretty
I
quick.
think it's more for
You know what I mean? But
companionship, having that womanly companion.
No, you should never judge anyone else's situation or how they're able to, or deal with that grief or cope with it. And I think this course and all those different little aspects helps that person to grow and get through it without it totally losing who they are
Right.
along the
And
way.
then many of them feel that they're not ready to go forward with different things. But we tell them, surprise your family.
Oh.
Surprise your friends.
Yeah.
Do things like you did before.
Have a birthday party in honor of them.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Maybe a cake to say
Go
this would have been their
swimming. Good,
50th.
No,
do
to
whatever.
celebrate them.
Don't
That
stay
person.
back and then.
How do we get a hold of you if we'd like to attend
Yes.
the course?
They call us, we left our number, but there's a church bulletin. That's
Yes.
where
Okay, so we're talking about at the hospital in the chapel. We can call there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that
There is a
number? Is there a
number.
direct number?
The receptionist
Just
knows.
go through
She-
switchboard at the
yeah.
hospital.
623-3264.
Okay, 3264. We do know.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And then between Jackie and Kristen,
Yes,
well,
yes, of course.
they,
Yeah,
they
you're
would
the one.
contact us.
You're
Yeah.
kind of our boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Besides
it. Now, can
that-
someone jump in? Like now you had said this class just started or whatever, so you're a session in. Can you join halfway in, or do you
No.
recommend? No. Okay. This
wanna
is
go
the
through
class.
all-
that starts.
all of the
You want to
steps.
go through all the steps.
No,
Okay.
because
After the second one, we don't take
yeah,
no more.
like
Oh,
the
okay.
group has
We have a
kind
bond.
of
Yeah.
bonds
Yes.
together.
No,
And
exactly.
then bringing in a
Somebody
stranger,
new, yeah.
that person would be lost. It wouldn't
Okay.
be fair either way.
No, that's right. Yeah,
That's true.
and that makes sense.
But
That's
you are
true.
volunteers, correct?
Yes.
And we
Volunteer.
thank you on behalf, like we're all volunteers, and we
Yeah.
know what it's like and
Yeah.
the compassion that you feel because we feel the same way about our community and people.
Volunteers
So
make the world
thank
go
you
round.
very much
they
for the
do.
time you're doing to help other
Exactly.
We
people.
love doing
Well,
it.
thank
know
you.
you
Is there a cost to take the course?
No.
No.
cost.
Okay, that's fantastic news as well.
Free
No,
service.
Definitely.
Free
service.
Yeah, a free service provided by experienced
Two lovely
volunteers
ladies.
as well. Exactly. We want to thank you so much, Diane.
Well, thank you
And
for
Laurette for
having
joining us today and filling us all in on this lovely course that you offer here at the Miramichi Hospital. Thank you to our viewers
you.
for watching today. Again, we'll see you again next week. Bye.
Have a good weekend.